speaker.
You couldn't mute yourself.
Yeah, if I mute the speaker.
All right, good stuff. Well, we are here, and we're gonna see what happens. All right, everybody. For those who are waiting, we appreciate you. I am Coach Nazir.
And I'm Coach Fatimah, his wife.
And I'm Coach Nyla. I am also his wife.
We are streaming live on Facebook. Who have given us salams? Are they making sure? Look, move around, no problems. We do have up. Let us know the audio is okay. If it's not okay, let us know so we can fix it. We want to make sure we can jump into this topic of polygamy, or better yet, polygyny, and go from there. Just to let IG know, go to our YouTube channel, which is Outstanding Personal Relationships, in order to watch the full thing because different formats. So migrate on over to our YouTube channel, be a lot better. Again, I'm Coach Nazir, one of the founders of Outstanding Personal Relationships. And you ladies want to thank you for letting us know you can hear us well. Want to introduce yourselves again?
Okay, so I'm Coach Fatimah's wife.
And I'm Coach Nyla. I'm also his wife. We're also co-authors of the book, Let's Talk Polygamy Uncensored.
Yeah, I'm just going to do that. Look at you on ahead of yourself. Good stuff. Yeah, this book right here, Let's Talk Polygamy Uncensored, which is what we're going to do today. Nevertheless, there's a little bit of feedback on our side. I'm going to address that, so I'm going to jump up right now. Yes, this is live. Welcome. Kind of behind the scenes, if you will, what we're doing. And I want to know, have you taken your polygamy readiness assessment? The first of its kind, polygamy readiness assessment. Yes, we are excited that we brought that out. But have you? Let us know in the chat. And if you have, let us know your number if you're not shy. And the ladies let you know what they think, what's important about that also.
Yes, and if you don't know what it is, we're going to talk about it. So good thing that you are here.
Yeah,
so making sure that you stay tuned. And yes, the importance of a readiness assessment, which I know I wish we had. I know I wish I had. I can't speak for everybody, but we talked about it and we said we.
So. Yeah, I said that too. I was like, I really super wish I had it too.
Yes, because it's really important to know how ready you are. I guess a little bit like backstory. And those who have been with us for a while, they kind of know. One of my things was like I read the books, I studied. It wasn't a whole big plethora of information about polygyny to just study. However, I knew that as Muslims, polygyny is allowed. I know that men can have more than one wife. And even before I even became Muslim, before I converted to Islam, people who weren't even Muslim, when I was telling them that I was studying, they were like, did you know that the man can have more than one wife? Like if they didn't know anything else about that, they knew that. So wanting to know more about it, there wasn't something that's like, oh yeah, become Muslim and then jump right into polygyny. There wasn't that, but it's like when you have a particular religion, way of life, and those different things that you are bringing into your life, you want to know you want to know all you can about it. So yes, I read the books that I've seen out there on it. One of the books that made a lot of sense to me about polygyny was the book, I think it was Polygamy in Islam. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense. That didn't mean that I was like, oh yeah, let me go, get into a polygynous marriage. It wasn't that, because I was in monogamy before I got divorced and then being married into polygyny. So, but even though knowing the things that I knew from that book, it didn't prepare me for what I've encountered in polygyny, like in the beginning stages. And like I said, those who are familiar with our story, we had the ups and downs and the highs and lows and different things like that. It wasn't always sunshine, rainbows, kittens, and unicorns. So being able to know how to handle specific situations like blending of families, like jealousy, like how do you talk to your co-wife? How do you create a relationship, with you and your co-wife? How do you deal with bonus children? All those different things like that. I can tell you what wasn't in that book. That information.
A whole lot of stuff.
Not in that book.
And that assessment wasn't in that book either.
Right. So being able to have that and be like, oh wow,
Yeah.
I would have never thought to work on those things. Like when you have an assessment, you at least have this clarity. You have this clarity of what you know and what you don't know.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. I like that. I wish we had something like that.
And I second that, because I definitely wish. I went to different studies and sat with actual students of knowledge on the subject, and they still were like, listen, this is not cookie cutter, and you need to study more. And what you don't understand, ask somebody that does, and don't assume so much. And don't assume that you don't need work, that you don't need to be informed. And the main thing that I had to come to grips with is that you had to remove the fear, because if I stayed fearful, then I would stop myself from being educated in the subject. And as practicing Muslims, we know that it is vital, and we're told to read and we're told to study all the parts of Islam, and not cherry pick the things that we say, well, that's not for me. I don't want that, but I'll take this over here. We have to be very careful about those kind of statements. But what I love about this assessment specifically is it allows you to hone in on some things. And we've had a lot of women say, I'm afraid to take it. I'm afraid to take the assessment. I'm scared. I think someone in the comments today said that they were afraid or scared to take the assessment. Don't be. What is awesome is that when you get this clarity from taking the polygamy readiness assessment, is that it can lift a lot of that pressure off your shoulders, and then you get to understand yourself a bit more. Because I didn't think about like blending. I said, well, he'll do that. He know what to do. He did it. And it's not the case. You run into situations where you're going to say, you know what? I might not have planned to mother children that aren't mine through biology, but my bonus babies might need me to mother them at times. They might need a hug, or they might get close to me, and I'm not expecting that. But the expectation of me from a child would be, look, I want to hug, and I want to hug you too. So, but I would not have known that if I hadn't studied. But thankfully, we have the polygamy readiness assessment, and it's awesome.
And the being scared part, I mean, it's there are a number of things that scare us, and a lot of it comes from just not knowing. And if you don't do it, you're never gonna know. You're never gonna know. So it's like, what is more important to you? To just let your fear take over and never know, and then let your imagination just run wild with the things that coulda, woulda, shoulda, or probably, or maybe, or at least get some clarity. Say, well, at least I know now, so now I can work on this. Or, wow, I did better than I thought I would have done in this type of thing. Because I have been through these situations. Even if it wasn't in polygyny, it may have been in some other part of my life. Like maybe I had to do some courageous communication. Maybe I had a conflict with someone who I loved or who was, really close to me, and I dealt with it this particular way. So, one of the things is they say you will miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So the thing is that if you don't take it and you're afraid to take it, but you don't take it out of the fear, and then these other things come up in your life, say, wow, I could have been more prepared if I would have just gotten out of my own way and took the assessment, or took something that I know is going to improve. I'm going to improve myself on. It's going to be a betterment for me, not something that has harmed me. And I think that's a lot of times when you think about constructive criticism And that's what it is. This would be your own constructive criticism to yourself. And sometimes we have that fear of constructive criticism because we're like, oh man, I'm not perfect. I got flaws. We all have flaws. But when you know what they are and you're willing to work on it, that's the beauty of it all. So, if you have, being scared is one thing, but being able to say, you know what, let me be courageous, and that courageous is going and pushing past that fear just to have some clarity so you can be better.
All right, cool. That was a lot of talk about the assessment. You want to know how to take the assessment? No problem. Go to outstandingpersonalrelationships.com. That's where you can take it at on our website. It currently is free. Currently is a very important word. So if you value getting something for free, which most people don't, just to let y'all know, it may not be free for long just because it costs us a lot of money to really put it together and get stuff done. And there's a way that we want to be able to sort from those who are serious versus those who are just curious. All right. So if you want to go ahead and take it, outstandingpersonalrelationships.com. You heard a lot of the benefits of it. I will let you know that it's one thing to think you're ready, to imagine you're ready, to allow your ego to really get in the way and talk to you all funny and puff you up, especially as a man. But it's another thing when you're being honest and you just go ahead and get your results, and your results are like, ooh, okay, I'm weak in this area. I'm, 40% over here. And I thought I was definitely a strong 80. All right. It lets you know the real, so you're not going to be delusioned. All right. So it's not it's not necessarily anything. It's absolutely not something that's going to be stroking your ego, but it's not something that's going to beat you down. It's something that's going to at least let you know where you are. And if you can know where you are, then you can know how to kind of chart that course, if you will. So with that being said, one of the things that was important to me when it came to polygyny is I let brothers know you really have to inspect what you expect so that you can give yourself a report card. Here's the challenge with giving yourself a report card. I don't know if you've ever watched this famous Muslim comedian back in the day when he had his television show before they played him. He took his Africa ticket, which I like to ask you, where are you chiming in from? What state, what city, what country? This is our first live stream on a different continent. We are currently, first live stream. I tried to do it for Eid, but it didn't work. But we are in Africa. Yes, we're in Africa. We are in Egypt, even though many people might not know Egypt is in Africa the way they try to portray it. But the cradle of civilization, we're in Africa right now. Live stream, but where you at? Let us know where you're from. Put that in the comments. All right, what city, what state, what country, or what have you? Where you from? Where you tuning in from? What time zone? So if you watch this famous Muslim comedian, then he had a sketch show. And as part of the sketch show, one of it was like, he was talking about slow motion and really writing about your life. He said, I couldn't do that because I'd be I'd be the superhero and the star and everything in my life. So there was a whole skit where he went to a bar and all that stuff. And a lot of people didn't know, but he went there to practice his Kung Fu. So to start fights and get in fights and with people. And, he did a whole jump, slow motion, all kind of stuff and everything else, because we are the first persons that we with ourselves all the time. We're the easiest people to fool, no matter what. So when you can look outside of that or have an objective opinion or evaluation, that matters. Like there's another, that first famous comedian, Dave Chappelle, by the way. Then there's also another famous Muslim comedian, one of my favorite storytellers right now. He's super dope. He has a series that he's releasing on Netflix right now. He's also touring, not as big as Chappelle yet, but actually a better storyteller, in my opinion. This Ali Sadiq. Ali Sadiq talked about being in your 40s and not thinking you're in your 20s. And even though he can ball, he talked about balling, and he talked about the 2 times he was ever in an ambulance. And one of those is when he went against his better judgment and tried to show out a young boy in his 20s, ended up hurting his back and getting taken away in an ambulance. Long story short, but it was hilarious. So again, that's one of my second favorite comedians. So again, sometimes we need to step away from the picture because we're in the picture and in the frame. We're too close to be real about it. And that, again, is called being disillusioned or delusional in some cases. Indeed. So, all right, let me shout out to everybody who's making comments thus far. We respond to the salams. Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Poly Life 101. We see you, Abid Ali. We see you, sis. Barham as well. Shuri no Sensei. Also, we kill debts. Don't know your name. Maybe you know, saying smash it either on getting your credit right or something, or you know what I'm saying, that bankruptcy attorney. I don't know. We kill debts. Joy, walaikum salam, rahmatullah, barakatuh. Loretta, our dear sister in the house. Yeah. Jimmy H111. All right. Appreciate you. Who else? Where y'all from? All right, from New York, originally from Senegal, married with 3 children, but wants another woman to better respect religion. Barham says that. Very interesting. Same, I thought it was a strong 80. Child, we're not even gonna say. Said Ahmed Ali. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, yeah, I took it like, man, I had to take, we all took it. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, let's see what's up. All right, Elkhart. Where's Elkhart? Where's that? That sounds like somewhere in Wisconsin. They just Elkhart. That's not a state.
Probably more than one.
It's a city.
It's America.
We don't know what that's at, Poly Life 101. Don't really sound like a Poly Life 101 to be in Elkhart. It's Elkhorn in Wisconsin. Anyway, she's out in Ghana. Yeah. Ali Sadiq, love him too. Alhamdulillah. Indeed. Washington State, visited family, relatives. Been in Texas now. Loretta let us know. Alhamdulillah, she's been with us since 2021. Very, very good people. Inshallah, we intend to have you on with one or both of these young ladies next to me to speak with you and discuss that. Christian Recon says, I'm a Muslim man. Your name is Christian? And married a Christian woman. If you converted, alhamdulillah, welcome to the Dean. We happy, but I would like to take a second wife. How do I tell her? I've been bringing the idea in conversation just to see what she thinks. Okay, let me let you know. Don't do that.
Right.
That's called fishing. We don't want to fish. What I would suggest is, and I've said this a lot before, blame it on me. Blame it on me. Came across this dude on the internet. Him and his wives. They were talking about polygyny. What you think about this?
And then
blame it on me. Do third party. Watch a video together. I have a whole playlist where I actually discuss it. But there are a few things you don't do. One, just don't just kind of throw it out there and be passive aggressive with it and not know. Don't do that. All right, don't do that, because there's a number of different reasons. But don't do that. Don't give somebody else your cojones and then you worry about how they're gonna treat them. All right, you got to keep them with you and on you. Don't worry. It took a long way to get there. All right, Christian, your Muslim name is Bilal. There we go. Well, you put your legal name on it. I got you. No problem. Oh, Elkhart, Indiana. See, it's close to Wisconsin. It's right around the corner. All right, good stuff. Pensacola, Florida. Bobby Harris representing. All right, look, we appreciate all y'all being here. So now, here's the thing. We get asked a lot of common questions. So one of the first ones is, some of you might assume that we live together because we are together right now in the same house, where we traditionally conduct, our family councils, or what we call our family meetings, and a number of different things. So who wants to answer that question for the curious audience?
We do not live together. And there's a really important reason why. We have a very large family, and Coach Nyla and I, and Coach Nyla already knows this, he knows our story, but we know it's very important for each queen to have her own castle with her king. We share our, but not that one. Because we'll get to that question too. But it's important for us to have our own space. We have different personalities. We got the same taste in the husband, though. But we got different personalities. Hey. We have different personalities. And we need our own space. We're all adults, and we all decided that we're going to be where we're at and be in polygyny and remain here and have our family and create a healthy space for our family. But however, we have 2 separate houses. Now, that doesn't mean everybody has to do that. Some people live in a massive unit of a place, and it's doable, and that's what they want to do. So we're by no means saying that that's not the way to go. We're just saying for our family, this is the best way. This has worked for over, what has it been now? 14, 15 years, 14 years, and we're separate and living in different homes. But we do visit each other in our respective homes and have our family meetings and things of that nature. So is it every day? No, it's not every day. We're busy people, but we make sure we see each other all the time. And Coach Nazir sees us every day, and all the children every single day. Coach Nyla and I hang out. as much as we can, because again, we are still parents, and we have children to mother, and Coach Nazir has children to be a father to. So there's education and everything else going on for our children. So because that works for us, that's great. But just know, people say, well, we don't want that, or we live together, and that's fine with us. If that's what you want to do, go for it. But that's just not practical for our family, so no, we do not live together.
All right. One of the questions I want to address too, because we have a lot of new people, coming through, right? So if you aren't watching this live and can't ask the question, I'm going to address it right now. That is, how long did it take to really get stuff official? Because it'll sound like, oh yeah, we living here and doing this and everything's, all great and all good, right? The fact of the matter is, I don't know who said it or what boxer said it. It was like, champions, they're not made under the lights and the glamour and the glitz and stuff like that. All right, they really made in the gym. So it's the work that you do behind the scenes that end up coming to light, if you will, or if you want it to.
Yeah.
Okay, the fact is, the vast majority of people who are successful in polygyny are quiet about it, and rightfully so. We had to determine, once we got good after several years, and we're trying to help shortcut your process, but for us it was several years, on whether or not we still gonna be good and do like most, or do we want to benefit more people, get more blessings, and go from that way? And unfortunately, since our religious leaders and those who were practicing polygyny or indulging in all types of things were, leaving us hanging, if you will, we decided to go with the latter. So go ahead and be that voice you want to see in the world, regardless, to write the books, to put the information out there, to share the ups and downs. So yeah, it was ugly before it got better. So just understand that, because I see somebody just commented, what is it, Bobby? Bobby said, look, he tried to poly life for like the last 3 years. 2 of my bitter enemies, long story with so many chapters. Look, the first 3 years is still technically early, especially if you're trying to figure this stuff out on your own. All right. But the good part is you really don't have to figure a lot of stuff out on your own, simply because if you see some people or a strategy or something like that has been working, you can model that strategy. Okay, that's one of the things one of my coaches told me a long time ago. It's okay to copycat, as long as you copy the right cats. You know what I'm saying? So that's extremely important. So we want to help shorten your learning curve, give you a positive way to do it, and be part of representation, because it matters. You telling me it doesn't matter when you see Simone Biles out there killing everybody when it comes to gymnastics, and she started late, killing it. You know what I'm saying? You think it didn't matter when Tiger Woods got out there and killed every single person at a young age? Of course, we know that representation matters. Whether that's Serena and Venus, we know it matters. So we wanted to go ahead and shine, regardless of the hate, regardless of all the other individuals. We got thicker skin in that. All right. So, just want to let you know, it may be ugly at first, which is okay. The challenge is whether or not you're committed to growing and doing what you need to do. So I'll talk about some of the issues that I had to begin with, but I've been talking too much already. So I'm going to do something over here. We'll get to the comments and circle back around. That's not what you said. I know that at the beginning. Then I started talking. Like,
I'll do it. What we gonna talk about? We usually pass it off, and it's something like kind of go on.
Let me do this. I'm going to read some of these then, because we want to talk about it. That's no problem.
Yeah.
All right. Bobby said, I mentioned it briefly. He said, I tried a poly life. I have 3 women that all know of each other. 2 of them are like bitter enemies, a very long story, so many chapters. As a whole, I've been involved in this for 3 years, which again, very, very short time. I most definitely need advice, healthy advice. I've taken the assessment test as well. Excellent. Reach out to us, man. Whether email us or book a session, what have you. Bobby, do you get them together to work on being one unit? Poly life asks you, bro. So you might respond if you haven't already. We Kill Debt says, we Kill Debt, what's your name? Like, for real, like, we could say like KD or WKD, but it still ain't a rock well.
Debt killer.
You know what I'm saying?
Debt killer.
LLA. My comments, questions wouldn't be able to be encapsulated in a live stream or book. So how do I get a coaching session with the brother? You can either go to take the assessment. All right. And at the end of the assessment, you will have an option to do it at the end of the assessment, or the email you receive once you get your results. And again, right now it's currently free, or you can choose to do something different, which is go to coachnazir.com. All right, CoachNazir.com. I do have consulting that I do there, but I also have coaching one-on-one program and so on. So if you want to get that, it's no problem. What I'm going to do when I be quiet is put some stuff that goes across the bottom of the screen to address some of these questions or sites and stuff like that. Like if you want the book, you go to letstalkpolygamy.com. Go ahead and get a copy of the book. But if you take the assessment, you even get a discount. Now, you don't supposed to say that's a bonus surprise, but you actually get a discount once you take the assessment. So yeah, there's that. Dope Law, what's going on with you, Lawrence, man? Definitely good to see you here. It says, we are doing important work, families. You know, and Coach Nyla, I still got to send you an email. Yeah, you do. I got stuff for you. You ain't even sending me email. So it's like, all right. Yeah, ain't that important, I guess, bro. But yeah, I look forward to getting it from you, man. Bobby, your response, Poly Life 101 for those of you who are paying attention. See, if you're on IG watching this, which is cool, no problem, right? We like left it on, even though we're supposed to like tell you, we told you go to YouTube. Go to YouTube, you'll be able to participate in all of this. Because now Poly Life is responding to Bobby Harris. And he says, or Bobby Harris responded to Poly Life. He said, I've got them together on only one occasion. And that was for my birthday. That was a disaster. That's just me adding emphasis added. It says, other than that, on other occasions, I've gotten 2 of the 3 to do dates and whatnot. So We Kill Debts also lets us know his name is Mustafa. Yes, Mustafa. Alhamdulillah. Raheem, may Allah Ta'ala continue to bless you and your wives as a model. Alhamdulillah. I mean, F1. All right, definitely book a session. I believe that will be most helpful indeed. So again, if you want to book a session with us, it's really simple. Take the assessment. At the end, you get access to do so. Matter of fact, if you do, what's today? Today's 21st. If you do, within these next 3 days, before you book a session, if you want to, email us. Like, you can do that because within an hour after we finish this live stream, everybody who books a session or wants to book a session, let us know, email us, and we'll do something for you for the next 3 days. So if you're watching this live stream too late because you wasn't here live with us, and you have, you know what I'm saying, a couple of days, we'll send you a voucher. We'll give you a voucher. So again, make sure you take it. Don't like take 17 questions and stop and take
finish.
All right. So
assessment.
Yeah, don't get cold feet up in
Take
there,
the full assessment.
all right. So Poly Life 101. Oh, is that a sister? Oh, probably a sister. Okay. I don't even see the image.
Oh,
Well,
yeah, that's your right.
oh, I thought this was what you call it. That was like a side of the face right there. What is that? No, I see it over there, but whatever. Yeah.
She can comment
All right, it's
in
a
the
sister.
chat
Cool.
and let us
You can
know
say
what
your name is involved. She said,
Wow.
sisters, this is so off topic, but alhamdulillah, how do you all keep cool? I'm struggling this summer recovering, and y'all always dress so well with many layers. Oh, they be thinking y'all got layers. They don't know that
They think I have 15
Yeah.
keep Mars on, and I don't. We don't. But we choose cooler fabrics when it's hot, you know. So, and then we stay out of the sun too. So sometimes we in the house and we love it. And then we take Ubers and stuff with AC. The house has AC, and then we got hats. You got
things somebody says stay
all types of
hydrated.
stuff.
Says yeah, stay hydrated. Stay hydrated.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you know. I don't know where you at, Poly Life. I
Thermoses.
forgot. Is that the Indiana?
Indiana. Yeah.
Elkhart. Okay, you in Indiana, right around the corner from Wisconsin. So maybe it's 90s. Maybe it kept 100 one of these days. But this is the weather. I know you can't see this from there, right? But if you could, you'll see that today is 103. Actually, right now it's 102. Tomorrow's 105. Then it's 103, 103, 103, 101, 100. Now, the percentage for rain is 3%, 3%, 5%, 1%, 2%, and 2%.
70%
Till Saturday.
humidity.
So it's in the hundreds all week.
Yeah,
And at
you
night,
don't get rid of
it gets good because it dips all the way down to 81 and 78 on the weekend. So it's hot.
And then it's 80 something right in the morning.
You know what I'm saying? Again, we in Africa. So
It's gonna be Africa.
But
It's gonna be
definitely
hot.
stay hydrated. Cooler fabrics. Yeah, but
And we don't go out if if it's dangerous for us, we stay in the house.
and it's
If
just
we gotta
name is
order
Nia.
something, we
Also,
order
so
it. We just order
Nia?
what we need.
Nia,
sometimes,
yes,
too.
Nia. All right, so he said she want to move somewhere hotter, but she don't want to die yet. Well,
Yeah, because you can only do
All right.
it's real.
Mike Lowry says, I would like a blended family dynamic, but I know that would take some time. Should I just allow my wives to talk on their time, or should I inspire them little by little? Well, here's the thing. One, you can't force a friendship, but you can demonstrate leadership. All right. This is what I mean by demonstrating leadership. I'm glad you asked this, Mike. And I remember being, I think you interviewed us on Facebook, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe not. But no, that was the rebel, whatever. All right, Mike, here's the deal. Painting the vision for your family is very important. Painting the vision for your family. One of the mistakes I did at the beginning was allowing too much choice. Here's what I mean by that. It's been proven that the way we deal with decisions, all right, so neurologically speaking, if you have too many options, you're not going to make a decision. So, for example, if I ask you, all right, if you want to get in shape, you want to get to, let's say, 15% body fat, and let's say you 20 pounds overweight. But as your coach, all right, as your fitness coach, as your trainer, I say, all right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and choose from any of these 20 different exercises, and we're just going to go ahead and choose one every single day for these next few weeks and so on and so forth. That is problematic. So you got the option of swimming, you got kung fu, martial arts, jiu-jitsu, you got running, you have basketball, you have soccer, you got football, you got baseball, you got kickball, plenty balls, but whatever. So you have all this stuff, right? So here's the deal. The fact is, the least amount of choices that you have, the better. So if you have an option to choose from 2, you're more likely to succeed because you're going to say, all right, cool, I'm taking weightlifting, I'm good. And you're going to stick to weightlifting. That's all. You're not going to go from weightlifting to swimming. They're going to swimming to biking, and from biking to hiking, and then the footballs, and and tennis. No, you're not likely not going to stick with it. Why do I say all that? I say all that because at the beginning, I was being more technical. Like, okay, well, the fact of the matter is, you don't really have to be friends. I would like you to be friends. We don't have to be friends because Islam doesn't require you to be friends. But this is kind of what I want to do, right? That's not clear enough. Hit the bottom thing so we can still see it scrolling. So I didn't paint the vision properly because what I did want clearly was the blended, peaceful family. All right. And to operate and move as one unit, not until a few years later, after getting fed up or hitting the POD, a point of decision or point of discuss, that I go ahead and say, all right, listen, this is how it's going to be. The way this is riding, I need to be handling my leadership better. This is what I want. And if you're on my team, we operating in my frame. Let's move forward. That's what made it better. And they were just waiting on my leadership. They're not going to lead. You know what I'm saying? So I was lacking in that area. All right. So good question. Again, you can't force it, but you can say what your vision is. And if they're on your team and your squad, you're the leader of that team and that squad, then they should see the value in you leading.
I would like to add, be consistent with it. Because sometimes it'll be, okay, I'll do it once and then I'll wait and then do it again. And then, or it's just like, oh, this one time, the one time is not going to, more times than not, the first time is not going to be the time where it's like, oh yeah, we're going to all get in, everything is going to be great and fantastic, the sunshine and rainbow. It's not going to be that way, but being consistent, then the person knows that, or the people, your family knows that this is not just a one-off thing, or it's not just I remember when I could just is connected but not connected. When I converted to Islam, my relatives, I'm like the only one on that side that's Muslim, and it seemed as though that it was like they'll say certain things, little slick comments, little these things, whatever the case may be. And then it got to the point where it's like, oh, wait a minute, she for real. This is not bounce to this. And I was not known to be the person anyway to bounce to this and bounce to that, but because to them it was so extreme that it was like, oh, well, this is just, this is, we'll see how, it's a phase. We'll see how this, how this plays out. And then after a while, as I was consistent with my growth and my learning, they started seeing things and they started to see, increased growth and change and things as far as that. It got to the point where they respected it more.
Right.
It wasn't the disrespectful tones. It wasn't the little side comments, little snide remarks. It was like, oh, okay, I got something for you, for your family and the kids and everything like that. And it's around the Christmas time that they celebrate. It was like, but I'll give it to you when it's Eid for you. Like, it would be that type of thing. That's the respect that happened for being consistent, for showing up. For you stated it earlier. I forgot the words you said, but it was like the being like the role model, type of thing. So if you continue to model the behavior, eventually people are going to, they're gonna follow it, or they're gonna respect it, or they're not gonna respect it.
Right.
But that's their problem, not yours. And that still applies in your family dynamic. That still applies as a wife saying this, saying that as we want our husband, or wives want their husbands to be leaders. Being a single parent, I was a single parent for a minute before I got married and got married into polygyny. And I know what it feels like, and I know what it looks like to be the leader, to do that. I'm the oldest of 9 kids. So it's like I was kind of like put in that position, from my upbringing. However, I know naturally as a woman that I want to be the one who supports. I want to be the one who knows that I have a person that is going to take the family to the next level. That I don't have to do all the other things, because seriously, we're not built that way as women. I know feminism want to tell you something different, but we're not built that way. Whereas so many women that are in leadership positions that are going out there trying to do what men do, and what men are built for, are having polyps and all these other things that's messing up their internal organs and things like that, because they're not built that way. So yeah, just being able to be consistent and say, you know what, I'm going to take charge. I'm going to be the leader. It's only one. It's one leader. And then the other ones, they follow, they learn, and they support.
I want to correct something that Coach Nazir kind of said about, not correct it, but add to it. Coach Nyla and I took up the leadership position on our relationship, specifically as far as co-wives go. So we knew we were not going to, I'm going to start over. Coach Nyla contacted me, and we made a decision to sit down and talk to one another. She was ready. I was like, well, this is for him. I don't know what I have to add to it. And that's why this assessment is so important. So, but the Eids and the times we spent together as a family, Coach Nazir led the charge on that. A lot of you spoke about co-wife relationships, and we made a decision to be peaceful with one another. We already were cordial. A lot of co-wives are just going for each other's throats, and it is really, really sad. So, but we couldn't have really done that if Coach Nazir hadn't been like, we gotta come together, and we have children too that are watching this unfold. So it was so important for us to be role models for them as well. So how can you kind of help parent and co-parent and have this healthy family if the husband is saying, look, I'm going to plan these things, we're going to go and be together during these times, and then there's no support from his wives? Could it be more effective if you get along and hitting each other with your words at each other? But it was really nice that that is really a heart softener, because then you're seeing each other as not just these one-dimensional people. We started to really see, okay, this is why I can blend so well, or this is why I felt this way initially. And I like that that we had the Eid together, and then the elder came up to me after, and she said, that's how you do it. She said, that's how you do it right there, because she saw us taking pictures for Eid together. And everybody knew we were kind of like, we weren't close at the time, but we got on our pictures together and we were smiling, and it was genuine and it felt good. So people looking on saw this. And so one of the elders, she said, I love how you did that, because my polygyny experience with my husband when I was a young woman, and this is a woman that was in her 80s or her late 70s, early 80s. She said it wasn't that way. It was traumatizing. It was violent. It was horrible. She said, but you all, she said, that's how you do it. And she was so proud of everyone. Mind you, this is very early on. So it's important to look at your husband's leadership and say, okay, this is what he did. Now let's expand that vision and just sit down and talk to one another. And maybe things won't work out with you as co-wives, but you don't have to be enemies. I think people are hell-bent on being enemies because society says you should not like this person because I feel like you shouldn't like this person. I meet people for myself. You don't get to tell me how I feel about somebody else. I do that for me. But I'm going to give someone that you don't want to pass up a good sister. You don't want to pass up a good woman, a good sister, because you share the same husband. And I would warn co-wives, you go, well, she's a good woman. I like her, but I don't like that she married to my husband. That can get in the way of you having a really great person in your life that you can benefit from and they can benefit from you. So be careful with your ego. I just wanted to say that, but we were cordial with each other always, and I never said, well, that ain't his wife. You better call her that.
I'm going to tell you what's important about that, too. Because even though she's speaking to women, in particular those who are initial wives, men, you got to choose right. So even though my stuff wasn't the best at the beginning, all right, I chose well. So I knew that I had women that had respect, they had iman, and that's important. Now, if you choosing trash, what you expect but garbage? You know what I'm saying? That's very important. You ain't going to, we know all of the different sayings and things that are out there, but you can't turn into a housewife and so on and so forth. All right? So that's the first step after inspecting yourself, is to choose well. Not just, oh, I found somebody that's open. Here are the facts, bro. People ask me, oh, where do you find sisters that are... There's no group or collective that's like, oh, all these sisters over here, hey, we the polygyny group that's open to... No, it's not. But you know what actually can open a woman up to polygyny? The right man. A number of different characteristics that I teach and talk about. So choosing well is extremely important. But I know Coach Nyla wanted to chime into it. We have some good questions that we want to address also.
Just a real quick thing about on it, as she was ending her part where she was talking about as far as the I like her, but you know, unlike that she married to my husband, we tend to be very selfish and possessive when it comes to things that we shouldn't be possessive about. And the reason why I say that is because our husbands are not property. So when that happens, though, we tend to go into a me and mine type of thing. And when we go into the me and mine type of thing, it makes it more difficult to open up to other people because we think someone is taking something from us, or we think someone is encroaching in on our territory. So it's really good in the assessment because it goes into some questions that talk about that. It's about how that feels, to you, like those type of things. So you'll know, you'll be like, oh wow, I didn't think about that, or if I was to have this, this issue with these different things, or I have these possessive things. I make this comment and I say selfish for the greater good. And it's the interesting thing is some questions in there about the greater good in the assessment. But when you go into the greater good, my kids laughed at me. They were like, selfish for the greater good? What does that mean? And I said, well, for me, selfish for the greater good is that I want people to be happy. I want my family to win. I want things to be peaceful, and I like peace. So I'm like, I want to have peace, and if I'm happy, then other people are going to be happy because I'm not going to be that person that's going to cause some issues, whatever type of thing. But I have to work on that. That's my type of thing. So when it all comes down to it, and being able to say, okay, am I just being, is it just about me only but me? Or we say, well, how does this benefit women? But we're only talking about this woman right here and not, other women out there and saying that, okay, well, how can I get to know this other person? Because this other person may be, I can help her, she can help me, we can help each other. The kids will, benefit, because they have, more love and support and these different things like that. But it's that being more mindful and opening your eyes to the bigger picture of it all. Because no, I won't say polygyny is easy. Polygyny is like, no, it's not. Marriage not. So
life isn't.
Life isn't, exactly. So when it all comes down to it, it's really interesting that we'll say, oh, is this what polygyny, and polygyny is hard and this and that, whatever, but we forget that life is too. We forget that, going to school and learning new things is hard, all these different things. So it's like, okay, are we looking at ourselves to say, I'm willing to look at the bigger picture. I'm willing to look at the greater good. I'm willing to get out of my own way in order to reap the benefits of what Allah, or everybody's not Muslim, but what the Most High put in front of me, because we're not giving things that we cannot handle. We're not giving things that we cannot bear. And maybe this is a lesson. Like, I love Coach Fatimah has a line that she says. She is like, when people think that they're taking L's, it's like, you're not taking losses, you're taking lessons, or get the lessons from the losses. And
if you listen,
if you
let's just do LLL.
So those type of things, I love it. But like I said, and we talked about it, we said it earlier, this ain't day one. This not year one. This not chapter one. This is not chapter 3. So we learn and grew. But as Coach Nazir said earlier, is that we do these things to allow you guys to have a shorter, it's the shortcut. You have to go through all the ups and downs and bumps and bruises unless you choose to. But then that's your choice now, because you can't say that you have not had the information and that you don't have the tools and resources in front of you.
And you know what else? I'm gonna add to what Sister Coach Nyla said. My bad. But with the wives disrespecting one another, I'm gonna say this because I don't care, y'all. I'll say it. Men don't like when you disrespect their wives. When your wives fighting each other, your husband doesn't find that attractive at all. And some people think, oh, I'm gonna fight over I'm gonna be jealous, and I'm gonna beat her up, and he gonna love it. No, it's absolutely unattractive, and it's not classy at all. And then when you sit up and name call each other and beef with each other and leave clues that you were in rooms and all of this stuff like that, and be petty and immature, the husband is not. If anything, you're gonna do is turn him off. Definitely ain't gonna turn them on. And they do not want this focus on them. A lot of women think that men love for us to be laser focused on them 24/7. Your man don't even want that. Your husband does not want you laser focused on what he's doing at all times. They don't want that attention. But society would have you think that you have to fight another woman. One thing, there was a good question in there about respect. Is respecting wives? That one. That's a good one. I like that one.
Okay, cool. All right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to read through a few different questions and things out of here, right? If you have a question, put question marks in front of your question so we can find it quickly. So we've almost been here an hour. We're going to wrap it up. And I have a client that I have to do a coaching session for, who I just pushed it back a little bit. So I'll spend a little more time here with you guys. All right. So Natasha, we are live. Okay, we're live. Hello, how you doing? So I'm like, peace. We live. She's like, we live. I'm talking to, is anybody here? Yeah, we're live. So that, get that one out the way real quick. So is it possible to regain respect if it is lost again from a woman's perspective? How so? Now, I'm going to read off a number of these different questions first before we get to answering them, because we can be a little long-winded, as you can see, because we like to teach people. However, we do have an OPR campus where we go a little deeper before you get there. My guy, I missed his. Dope Law said something. He said, look, I am getting another book. Now, we kid this, ask a lot of questions. we kill debts. What was the name for that? Remember?
Mustafa.
Nia is Mustafa. Yes,
Mustafa.
Nia is Polylife 101. All right, respect on the game from financial support, and how does that play in polygyny? Again, that's another question. Natasha, y'all made me be okay with having two wives, especially if you was a person that was like, you ain't getting nothing. Now I'm okay with it. Thank y'all. You're welcome, sis. See, told you we live. Mike says, and I want to get to this question. I gave it the you're insensitive if you make us meet, and then the crying starts. Trying to be a great husband in all aspects of life, but not gonna lie, the balancing of emotions is rough. True. And then Mustafa's like, look, I didn't ask 2 questions. Can you please check them out? How long did y'all keep it secret? And did it build a better bond? We're gonna get to that too, especially your wording. Then if you would have told that first, would it mess it up? All right, so those are a few different things. But what did my man say? He said, Dope Law said, all right, video is nothing but the truth. He said something about our book. So I want to get to that because that's kind of important. Shoot, this thing is. All right. Do you think me wanting to be a mom is too much to expect? I'm not sure I can have kids, and this is just one reason she wants polygyny. Okay, it was refreshing. There's a lot more questions than I initially saw, or comments too. So, pardon us, y'all. Again, this is a lot. I gave my friend a copy of Let's Talk. Let's do this. Hey, fam. What's up, bro? First of all, peace. I gave my friend a copy of Let's Talk Polygamy because me and him is going to have a little, book club. We're going to buy another one today. I'm excited to get the digital copy. Good stuff, bro. We got you, too. That's why you're supposed to email me, so, I don't mind, appreciate the support. But reach out to us so we can go from there. All right, so let's get to this real quick. Coaching session, we talked about, go to that question regarding respect and if it is able to be built back. Okay, from sister's perspective, y'all just addressed that one. No, you didn't. From sister's perspective, let's put it on the screen. Keep forgetting to do that. So, as soon as my mouse pad allows it, maybe it'll put it up there. Maybe not. From a sister's perspective, was it from the beginning? The man is learning to respect the husband.
How did it develop
respect internally for the consistency in that leadership? Leadership is not the best, but
say he's working on it, though, right? He's learning to be more.
That's
the part. You are learning to respect him as a leader. He's learning to be a better leader. When it all comes down to it, sometimes we talk about the picture and the frame and things as far as that, and how when we're in the picture, so we don't see our stuff, but we see others, other people's stuff, and then we don't give them grace. We're harder on them than we are on ourselves, and we could be doing the same thing or something similar. But understanding and having that internal conversation and that entire internal dialogue with yourself, and a lot of times it's putting yourself in another person's shoes or in their position. Not saying that, like I stated before, we don't do the same things that men do. We don't even, operate the way they do. However, knowing that, they are doing these different things, and you see that apparently that's something that you're seeing, to say that this person is increasing or they're working on their leadership. Just that piece right there shows an acknowledgement, and being able to acknowledge that and say, okay, well, how can I be, not what they're doing, how can I be more responsive to their leadership? How can I be more, supportive of the things that they are doing? We can work on ourselves. We can change ourselves. We can do those things within us. We can't do that for other people. But if you see that this person is growing and this person is improving and this person is changing, then that in itself can show you that, okay, well, what do I need to do in order to improve myself and be one to be more supportive of that person's leadership, of my husband's leadership.
I think something else really quickly. Do this really quick. If you're going to look at what he's doing, look at what he's doing right versus what he's doing wrong. In your opinion, what he's doing wrong.
What I suggest is to help him. So, as both of the ladies mentioned, what I mean by helping is, what books are you getting? So when he's working on his leadership, does he have 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership? Are you listening to that audio book together? All right, see, the wise woman is one who can influence and help persuade in a wise way without the diminishing or dismissing or disrespecting her husband. All right, so the respect should be there from the beginning. You chose him, he chose you, you got married and made this commitment, that's there. Now, if you just marry somebody that was dumb, that's one thing. But if somebody that's working on something is another, and if you could help them get better, then you're better equipping the leadership for the entire family. And in doing so, working together is very important. Jump into this next question. It's possible to gain respect if it's lost again, from the woman's perspective.
Yes.
How so? What's the next question?
Give yourself permission to. And then we spoke about consistency before.
Mm-hmm.
There's patterns. So if he's doing, again, this is putting in the effort. Putting in the effort. People mess up. People make mistakes. And sometimes they make really big mistakes. But meeting somebody with judgment when they've made a mistake and putting the forgiveness on a yo-yo is not going to get you to where you need to be. So giving yourself permission. I get that question all the time. If I didn't trust, it's because if you have a pattern of this amazing behavior, you're kind of teaching your wife what to think of you, or you should be. You're like her mentor, you're her friend, you're her teacher, you're her confidant, so many different things. So if something cataclysmic in your mind happens and you don't have trust, it takes a minute to get it back, but then who are you going to wait on to give you permission to get trust back? I'm not waiting on anybody to tell me I can trust my own husband, but me and his actions. So for our case, if Coach Nyla had more than one wife, he started praying more. He started worshiping Allah more, and he was pretty good. But it's just seeing that relationship with Allah for those of us that are Muslim. That helped me heal, because I said, okay, he's going to his Lord for help in what he doesn't know. He's picking up these books, or he's trying to bring the family together, and okay, I'm gonna bring you all together. I might be nervous too, but this is for the greater good of the family. So giving yourself permission, and knowing that you need work too.
Yeah, I don't answer that.
Is respect only? Well, let's jump. This is the same. Just adds on to it. Is respect only gained from a financial support, and how does that play in polygyny? Matter of fact, put it on the screen.
Okay, I'm not gonna answer that one yet because I don't understand it. So if you got that one, I just want to comment on the other part where it goes into you can't change the past. And if you, like Coach Fatimah said about giving yourself that permission, when you have that conversation and you have stated that you are going to move forward, don't keep revisiting the past. Because if you're going to keep living there, that's what's going to constantly come up. That's what's going to be in the forefront and not in the rear view. So if you gave yourself the permission, if you and your husband are having these conversations and you guys, and it's not going to just be one conversation, it's that consistency and being able to communicate and being able to, that's where that trust comes in, and that trust builds again, and that respect builds again, being able to bond again by communicating with each other and having that courageous communication. And not only courageous communication, but proper communication where you are listening and taking constructive criticism. Not only taking constructive criticism, being able to give constructive criticism in a proper way, and being able to see your relationship and work on it and also tell each other what you guys can do better, and work on being better together.
Indeed. We're going to skip the next one to go to someone else because time is an issue. So I want to talk about what Mike says right here, though. Really important because I know we all have something to say here. So prayerfully, we're going to try to keep this maximum 3 minutes. Question. I get hit with a you're insensitive if you make us meet, and then the crying starts. I'm trying to be a great husband in all aspects of life, but not going to lie. The balance of emotions is rough. Indeed, it is rough. Here's some things you need to learn, Mike. Women, they have strengths that men don't have. Like men usually have physical strength over a woman. The average man over a woman. All right. So it is what it is. We know what it is. All right. There's a man. There's women. There's a man, a woman, male, female. Ain't no other stuff in between. All right. So you're sensitive if you make us meet. Well, you paint the vision for your family. All right. That's important. Here's the thing. There's something called emotional manipulation. There's a period of growth. Like, how long are you going to allow your child to be in 4th grade? How many years should they take that? 1? Oh, yeah, all right, good stuff. I agree. 1 year. That's really it. Sadly, many people's emotional intelligence isn't past 5 years old. It's me, mine. Why do I say that? Nope, it's not Coach Nazir making up stats. This is from Tony Robbins. Like most people, they're not past kindergarten when it comes to their emotional maturity. So when you hear people saying, oh, that's like high school, the little mean girl cliques and all that type of stuff that go on, it still happens. But they have a significant advantage over us because while we were out playing monkey bars and WWF and WWE wrestling and body slamming and video games, they were playing house and making up scenarios with little dolls and all types of different things and beating us at verbiage and emotional manipulation. When the cry starts, and I will let you know, like one of the brothers I love very dearly, Rudolph Ware III, also known as Bilal Ware, PhD doctor out of Michigan, and he was recently in an interview talking about, well, America's been the pinnacle of white supremacy, and what's currently going on with the genocide is nothing but that. But we live in a system where it lives in a system, we've been impacted by a system whose white tears is more important than people of color's blood. Whether that be the Trail of Tears with the natives in America, whether that be the enslaved Africans that were taken to America and continue to be oppressed, whether that's dealing with the Jim Crow era or today, those same tears that killed Emmett Till, those same tears that just killed a black veteran in Milwaukee during the RNC convention still exist. If you don't recognize this, we have a name for this. You've heard about Karens. Well, that's really on a higher level. That can get people killed, right? But be careful because women can do it at different levels. Now, that doesn't mean that that's necessarily intentional or something vindictive, but a lot of times it absolutely is and can be. And we're ill-equipped because as husbands, we want to make life easy, good for them, everything. And as soon as we see some tears or some hurt and some pain, we start folding because we're inadequately equipped to recognize it and then end up folding for it and not being our authentic selves and end up what they call walking on eggshells. That's 3 minutes. I'm going to pass to the ladies.
I don't
want to talk about any of that?
You already talked about emotional manipulation and everything like that. I don't have anything to add. So that's
okay. Cool. All right. Natasha says, how long did y'all keep a secret? First of all, there's no such thing as a secret marriages in Islam. All right. This is very important to understand because you might not have known about something. Don't mean it's a secret. It just means you didn't know about it. But being private, meaning you have the witnesses, you have everybody there and all that stuff for the nikah and all that kind of stuff, already makes it a public affair. So one, it wasn't. Now, the reason I don't go into that, I talk about I married Coach Nyla, and then I informed Coach Fatimah later. Okay. And the reason I say that, and you asked the question, then would it have been, then if you had told her first, would it mess it up? Likely not. However, things will play out the way they will. But the question here is, do you tell before or later? I just did a video on the channel where you could look into that, whether you should notify wife before or after. Now, I'm going to let you know something because I'm creating I have a list of videos that we're working on and creating. But one of those videos is, why do you talk about going against the Sunnah? I know the Muslims like, what? You talking about going against the Sunnah? Well, the Sunnah is to marry and let your wife know later. But we talk about, it's best practices to have the conversation first and then go ahead and marry. For those of you who talk about, oh, Islam say this and Islam say that. Well, yeah, the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is to marry and then let your wife know later. All right, so miss us with the you need permission and you got to have all this agreement, you got to have all these things. Just remember, Allah Ta'ala did not address Nisa in Surah Nisa when dealing with ta'addud or polygyny. He's talking specifically and directly to the man. That's very important. So anyway, that's that point. And the reason you don't get into the specifics of it is because Coach Nazir did it. You wouldn't believe people talking about, well, you said Coach Nazir, they throw my name in all kind of arguments. And, I get hate and heat from people because their husband done said, well, he did it. It took him this long, or he did this, and it took this year. Well, he did it. So therefore, he proves that it can work. Listen, dude, we sharing y'all our mistakes and things you could have done better. We're not the type of people who say, no, I would like to make those same mistakes again because it's who it made us, who we are today in life. No, not at all. If there was a better path and a way to do it, we would have definitely taken the better path, got the better information, and got to that point. That's just called wisdom. Okay, so anyway.
You think about, we're trying to be outstanding. We're trying to help people be outstanding because of the mistakes we've made and the things that we walked into and the things that fell out of our hands. So you being outstanding, you think about the Olympics coming up. Who's racing to be second? Who's training all for 4 years to be second? Nobody. They training to be first so they can be outstanding. But they got to get in that work. And that's all we're trying to do is help other people so they don't hit their head multiple times like we did. And if you want to begin that journey, take the assessment for free at outstandingpersonalrelationships.com and see where you're at. And don't be afraid to do it because it'll give you clarity and it'll let off some pressure. It really will. Even for you sisters, don't be afraid to take this assessment.
Indeed, find out where you are. So here's a common question. How do you respond to American Muslims who say you can't do polygyny here because it's illegal? That's how they say it. They be typing hard, like on the keyboard. I imagine them all that. So, first of all, let you know that in the United States, polygyny is actually not illegal. There aren't any statutes against polygyny or polygamy in particular. Not at least any that I know, state or federal. The problem comes with people mixing up polygyny or polygamy with bigamy. All right. So one, you need to learn the system. There's a difference between legal and lawful. Now, I don't really care. As I've said, La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah. I understand the concept of al-wala wa bara. Okay, that's loyalty. The one who created this entire earth, fil ard, is who I answer to. Okay, so just like the same country that you're talking about, this corporation that currently exists called the United States of America, is this corporation is built on imperialist, colonialist ideology of white supremacy. Why would I give a damn, first of all? Like, why? Why would I change and think I can change my belief to say, oh, they say it's legal, like the prohibition was illegal, right? Meaning that they made alcohol and stuff like that illegal. Then now it's legal. So do I say, oh, well, the country says it's legal now, so I'm going to do it? Do I now support same-sex couples getting together and having their marriage certificate and being okay because the country says, hey, it is what it is. It's legal now. Do I do that now? See, I don't bend. When it comes to la, that's getting rid of all taghut, everything. It starts with negating everything. La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika. There's nothing worthy of worship but Allah. No partners, no associates. All right. So that's what I live on. That's lawful. The one who created everything, that's what matters most to me. Now, if your ideas or permissions and whatever is built upon what a government predicates, do you. But I know that when I die, I want the last thing to be on my tongue is la ilaha illallah, not I pledge allegiance to this flag. Understand? So I don't care what they think, but I'm just informing you, having two marriage certificates is considered illegal. That is considered bigamy. And you got to go back to understanding what the creation of the Federal Reserve did with a certificate and making you a corporation, and also putting themselves as a third party to whatever union you decide to put them in when you actually go that route. So please do not speak about law or legal or lawful or illegal unless you actually know those terms. And that's what I say to it. I say that I'm with the Shahada. So without that, it is what it is. I'm not worried about that at all. All right, so
Either.
although they're gonna cause a problem. This video I'm talking
They're gonna be like,
a little too much. All right, polygyny seems like it's double the work for everyone, and too many have dumbed it down to sex, or what Christians understand it to should be in monogamy, which is sad. Yeah, indeed. Well, you know what? It's probably a little bit more than double the work. My wives have always said you have to be more than twice the man, right? It's more than double the work, but the crazy part is it's exponential when it comes to the rewards.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is not, is it easy? But the question is it worth it? And for me, in working on it and what we're doing is absolutely worth it. So we'll be sharing and letting you peer a little bit more into our lives with a series I'm coming out with dealing with legacy, so that you can see more. Like if you can see my sons and the family and stuff, they're here, they're quiet. And, one of my sons sitting off to the side helping us out. But you see them in the different experiences and all these types of things that I dreamed of I didn't even dream of really when I was younger, really when I got older and understood that if you separate your ability to make money from geography and time, then you can live life before retirement age. Like you want to be traveling and doing all kind of hard stuff and your body is not in the shape to do it. That's not a good way for me to do it. So we'll be sharing a little bit more than that, but it's absolutely worth it. All right. This is halal because Allah Ta'ala said so. I don't know. Aisha, alhamdulillah. Like comments. Okay, so pettiness is indeed bothersome. All right, where we at? Sounds like me reading, Natasha. For the sisters, okay, so let me see. That's the same question. All right, maybe she think we saw it. Goldie Khan, Walaikum Khan. Goldie Khan. Alaikum salam, Ratullah. All right, respect. Okay, that's the same question. Post it again. Whoever can't deal with polygyny, don't put a negative spin on it for others who want it. Not reliving the past. Good morning from Pennsylvania. We see you, D. Fofana. I just had a net to Fofana.
Right.
You too? Okay, cool. I do a good job working together for a lot of time. You more stand out, look who I mean, growth and union. All right, 2 questions. All right. What is this? Let's see. All right, so the question is 2 questions. It says Mustafa, 1, is respect only gained from a financially support? It's not good English, bro. From financial support or providing financial support, maybe is what he means. Like you provide financial support, then you get respect. Is it conditional? And how does that play in polygyny relative to the Quran, Sunnah, and the Sharia? Well, that's an easy question. Like women are, ordered to obey their husbands in every religious scripture to begin with. But respect is in obedience is from the get, unless again they're doing something that is haram. That's something that's forbidden. So yeah, but the man, of course, your responsibility, as Allah Ta'ala calls us qawam, is to make sure you are protecting and providing. You are the one who is maintaining your family and standing up for your women, or standing up for women, period. But that's your responsibility. Like, that's an easy question. All right, so they can marry legally in America to have more than a marriage license. Okay, so they were answering that before I got to it. Can y'all start before you get married class? Can y'all start before you get married class? What is it? What are those called? Premarital counseling. Yeah, we don't do that. We do the pre-polygyny classes. It's outstandingpersonalrelationship.com.
The interesting thing is it's not before you get married class. We actually have different things. You go to outstandingpersonalrelationship.com, have different things, different courses and stuff like that. And those things that we teach in there, you can learn. That's you learning before you get married. If you're not married already, you learning those things is you learning before you get married. So that's kind of your premarital class, so to speak, because the stuff that we are teaching our clients and teaching those who get the programs, our children who are not married, and they're learning the same things. So, and that's their premarital coaching, so to speak. So.
Indeed. So, in wrapping this up, he has some other questions or to take the assessment. Mufid Ashadiq asks, is the book available in ebook? Yes, it is. So again, let's talk polygamy.com. You should go find it and get the ebook. Or you can go to Amazon and get the ebook stuff as well, put it right in your Kindle. It's no problem. That's where you take the assessment. Now, there's like one other question I see. All right, sister asked this question. It's very important because we've been discussing it. And she said, she asked once, I think it's just, I don't know, COD design. assuming maybe it's a sister, maybe it's a brother, I don't know. As I was before, if you would talk about dealing with polygyny as seniors, where there are no children involved, we're looking at the lifestyle as a help to another sister who is not being covered. Well, there's no difference in the age. All right, that makes it much easier, usually when there are no children involved, because you can decide whether or not you want to live under the same roof or not. And then, of course, if you're seniors, that's usually the case. We've seen older couples, or more mature couples who practice polygyny, usually stay in the same home. They're helping each other out, with with family, with companionship, with medical needs and things like that. So it's just a matter, again, that emotional and mental maturity exists, because it doesn't matter your age when it comes to jealousy, or when it comes to pettiness, or it comes to emotional manipulation, or lack of being a good leader. The age doesn't matter there. What matters is actually being educated and equipped so that you could do the thing in a healthy fashion, no matter what the age. I remember a sister was asking, that light-skinned sister, that was I'm not gonna say her name or her daughter's name, but she was like, look, she was almost 80. She's like, I'm almost 80. I need to get married. And there was another brother, he was in his 70s, and he was like, well, sister, I'm looking to get married too, type stuff, right? So, right, you know what I'm saying? But she was like, I don't care if it's polygyny. I ain't worried about them little girl games and blah, 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 blah. But I know I need somebody to be. She was just speaking her mind and stuff like that. So it doesn't stop. That love is still want to be there. You want the love, companionship, all these types of things. You may not be, what they say, I mean, young, kicking, but kicking high and all that.
We used to say kicking, but not high.
Yeah, you ain't got to be all young and wet behind the ears, a young whippersnapper. But it doesn't change the thing. Having the same conversations, deciding on how you want to lead and really deal with your family. That's really the main thing in making that decision, because now I'm assuming that there's already other families. So if you're seniors, there's probably grandkids, even great grandkids, there's nieces, nephews, there are other adults that may not like it. Now, mind you, we live in a world where, do we really want to think that everybody who get married are virgins? Really? Growing up in the West? Oh my God, how can you be talking about marriage? What? How dare you? Somebody told us don't be talking about polygyny. Don't be teaching them like what's wrong with you? Like literally on our channel, like y'all brand new here or something. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about something that's moral and raising families. So if you're going to allow somebody else to dictate your life and how you live it, that is a creation, is a creature, that's your choice. We choose to follow the one who knew and knows what he created and put systems out that are lawful for us to choose from to be better. Because I will absolutely let you know that there is no such thing as monogamy in gender. To me, that means that monogamy is not a paradise-built marriage. Nothing wrong with it. It's okay. We're not anti-monogamy. We're simply pro-morals. But I wanted to remind you of that for those who hate so much on polygyny. How old is too old to get married in polygyny, especially if you don't have children? When you're dead.
I was about to say dead.
When you're dead. That's probably too old when you're dead. You know what I'm saying? When you're dead, that's probably it. Or you go in the hospice or something. No, when you're dead, I think that's probably it. What questions could we ask a man who's already married to ensure he has emotional maturity to deal with polygyny? Why don't you take the assessment and look at it? Take the assessment and look at it. But have your representative, your wali, your wakil, your male relative do it, because game recognized game, and the facts state that women don't make good decisions when it comes to choosing men. What I mean by the fact state, I come from a city where 80% of households currently are ran by single mothers. And that's why the city, well, it's not why the city is so trash. I mean, the city is so trash because it was set up and designed like that. And I'm talking about Milwaukee, Wisconsin, the city that we talking about in the state, 6% Black people, but yet hold the majority per capita Black people locked up throughout the country. I mean, Jim Crow North is what I call it. So yeah, I have a cousin next year who's going up for parole. He's been locked up. Next year will make 30 years from being locked up for armed robbery. Nobody died. I had two other friends who unalived some people, and they're out. My cousin though,
18 years old.
Went in when he was 18 and going up for parole the first time next year. It's not by accident. Again, slavery is still legal according to the 13th Amendment. All right. So with that being said, I got a few minutes. We're about to wrap up because I had this coaching call and I got to get set up and everything else. So with that, make sure if you want to take the assessment, take it before we end up charging a fee for it, because we want to separate those who are curious versus those who are serious, because we want to work those who out. We want to help and empower those who are serious about it. But if you are curious about it, we have a whole bunch, 1,000 videos or whatever on YouTube where you can learn from. And when you're ready, when you're serious, let's get it. Mike says, thank you guys for paving the way for us as Muslims and being open, sharing, dynamic. May Allah bless you and your family. Grant you guys Jannah to the Firdaus. I know who I mean. Y'all don't know how powerful it is for us to see, how heartwarming it is us to see different du'as on different continents throughout all these different countries from people who are sincere. And we make dua for everybody who makes dua for us as well. And we know that the angels say, and the same for you when you do that. So we definitely appreciate that. Natasha says, to be honest, a lot of people do not like polygamy, yet and still the spouse leaves out the home every day to cheat and come back home. Sadly, some women prefer that. They know it and absolutely prefer that. They prefer their husband on the way to hellfire.
I'd rather you go to hell than to practice polygamy.
Well, you're not loved if that happens.
Polygyny has got to be better than the single mother epidemic.
It's a
Agreed.
solution for it.
Agreed. But if you're living in the Disney Cinderella world where they think everything revolves around love and the Prince Charming come save you, good luck with that. All right, when you marry, so let me see what you're talking about over here real quick. Angry Crypto. You have some good comments also. We've seen Angry Crypto before. Don't know your name personally, but that's cool. When you marry, you are doing a contract or multiple state-sanctioned marriages. That's a question. Asked because polygyny is outlawed in nearly every country. I'm not Muslim either, by the way. You probably joined us a little late. Excuse me. But when you marry, you are doing a contract. Okay. You should be doing a contract with that other person. Now, it's relatively new to have governments all in your business like that. And we don't encourage you to put the government. Think about it like this. When was the last time you ever went to a government facility? I don't care if you're talking about the DMV, you're going in to deal with the courthouse or whatever it may be. And you were looking around and just thought, man, they handle this so efficiently. I want them to be put in charge of my love life and my family. If you've never experienced that, then you probably don't want to do that when it comes to marriage. And you don't have to make people get married or ceremonial and religious marriages and go just fine. I mean, when was the last time somebody asked you about your marriage certificate anyway? All right. So, and it's not necessarily outlawed in a lot of countries. All right. All right, y'all. Jazakumullah khair. We definitely appreciate you. Again, you want to get the book, you get a discount, or you take the assessment, you get a discount on the book. We appreciate that. And if you want to speak with us individually about your personal situation, then make sure at the end of the assessment, you go ahead and take advantage of what's there and email us if you want to, so we can send you a voucher. We let you know that. We appreciate you hanging in to the end. Remember, wish changes nothing, but a decision changes everything. Do you want to say anything, young ladies, before we ride out?
Make sure you're growing intentionally,
loving fearlessly, and
connecting on a high level.
Every single day.
Should I do it?
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Slow like peace.
Peace.